You seem to be pinned in.
Is that your truck?
Yeah, isn't it a beauty?
Well, it wasn't parked there when I parked here. Funny how some people seem to make a career of wedging other people in. Would you mind letting me out?
Not at all. I'll be happy to let you out.
Would you please move that truck?
Tell you what.
What?
Tell me one thing, and I'll move the truck.
I'll tell you one thing. Move that darn truck.
Oh, please. Just tell me one thing.
All right. What is it?
What's your name, address, and phone number?
That's 3 things.
Okay. Just tell me one at a time.
Do you want me to call a policeman?
No, I don't need a policeman.
Move that truck.
Okay, Miss Iceberg.
To drive.
Well, we seem to have had a little accident. Here's my driver's license. Now you'll have to give me your name and address.
You did that on purpose.
Oh, I certainly did not. Glad it isn't Sunday. I never tell fibs on Sunday. My name's Buck Foster. Now, may I meet you?
I'm Margie Albright, and I must say, of all the crazy, persistent...
Hiya, Margie.
Hiya, Buck.
A complete stranger gives us some quick talk, and now she's got a date with him.
Oh, I see. Margie, this is not your father talking, but just a friend. Your dad's right, dear. You should be careful.
Please, Mr. Honeywell, not you, too.
Now, just a minute. Now, tell me this. Exactly what do you know about this fellow?
Well, he's very nice. Sort of tall, brown eyes, and the nicest smile. And he's a truck driver.
Truck driver?
Oh, I see. Let me point out one of the dangers possible in a situation like this. You're the daughter of Vern Albright, correct?
That's right. What are you driving at?
Suppose he knew who you were. Suppose he were a fortune hunter.
Fortune hunter?
Why, you read about things like this every day. How do you know he hasn't had you lined up for weeks? Months, maybe.
Mr. Honeywell.
Fortune hunter. Of course she was driving her new sports car when she met him. Mr. Honeywell, we've got to do something about this.
I didn't say this particular fellow was a fortune hunter. I simply cited the possibility.
Thanks, Mr. Honeywell.
A fortune hunter. First he cases our apartment, then he looks up my financial rating, then he manages to meet Margie, makes it seem very romantic, and then he makes me settle out of court for alienation of affection.
All right, you've got to do something about that bird.
Margie, listen to me. Suppose he isn't a fortune hunter in the general sense of the word. Suppose he is just an everyday truck driver who wants to marry a girl with money.
Oh, please, Dad.
Margie, nowadays one can't be too careful.
Oh, honey, call this a hunch if you will, but I have a feeling. Please don't keep your date with him.
Look, Dad, I'm going to... Gentlemen, do the two of you really think he might be a fortune hunter?
It's a possibility.
A darn good possibility.
All right. When he gets here, we'll tell him we're flat broke, not a dime.
Oh, we don't have to go to extremes.
But this isn't extreme. Not if you really think he might be a fortune hunter.
I think Margie's got a good idea. If he thinks she's a pauper and still wants to date her, that'll prove he's all right. Yes, sir. Good thinking, Margie. I've got to run, all right. I have work to do on that private deal of mine.
Good night, Mr. Honeywell.
It sounds kind of silly to me. How'd we ever make him think we were broke living in a place like this?
Oh, it can be worked out. You don't know your little Margie.
Well, that's just the trouble. I do know my little Margie. What's on your mind?
Well, let me see. When he gets here tomorrow night...
There you are, Mr. Benson. As soon as you digest what we can do for you, I think we'll have a deal.
I'm only the general manager of the company, not the president. I'll render my opinion at the proper time. Oh, here comes our president now. Mr. Honeywell, meet Mr. Foster.
Well, this is what I like. Youth in business. Nice to know you, Mr. Foster.
Nice to know you, Mr. Honeywell.
Tell me, since when does the president of a national corporation wear clothes like that?
I guess some of Dad rubbed off on me. I always check out any new models of trucks before we order. Oh, incidentally, Benson, we'll take 50 of the ones I checked yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, let's get on to business, Mr. Foster.
Some other time, Mr. Honeywell. I've got to get ready for a date with an angel.
Don't run out of gas on any country road.
Mr. Foster.
Yes?
May I ask the girl's name?
Oh, no. You're not going to investigate this one. I'm sole on her, and you're not going to mess things up.
As your advisor, I must insist. Remember a short year ago.
Well, that was a mistake.
Yes, quite a mistake. $10,000 for 5 letters with SWAK on back.
My boy, this is none of my business, but I think I know what you're talking about. This girl. Mr. Benson's worried because you just met her.
Yes, I just met her, but I was...
A friend of mine just recently had a similar experience. The papers are full of it every day. Mr. Benson, you're afraid she might be a gold digger, fortune hunter, huh?
Precisely.
Was this a seemingly accidental meeting?
It wasn't an accident. I forced her to meet me.
Oh, she was coy at first. Finally, she yielded. Is that the way it was?
Well, yes, but...
She cases your office for days, looks up your financial rating, manages to permit you to think that you forced her to meet you. Any further questions?
But I was wearing clothes like these.
My boy, this case is so close to another case I know of, you wouldn't believe it possible.
Please, Mr. Foster, let me check up on this girl.
Oh, I don't like to do a thing like that.
Well, you don't have to. Do you want to know what to do? She thinks you work in clothes like this?
That's right.
And she doesn't know that you're president of a big corporation?
No.
All right. Let her go on thinking that you work in clothes like this. You get it?
What a wonderful idea. What do you say, Mr. Foster?
Just a minute. Oh, that's my father. The poor darling, he's so tired. He works so hard. Well, I'll start at the beginning. We did have a little money. That's how we came to live here. Then one bad investment, and there we were, practically destitute. Now my father's the caretaker and handyman around here. The owner of the building took pity on us and let us stay.
But, Margie, your car. You can't drive a car like that on a janitor's salary.
It belongs to our across-the-hall neighbor, Mrs. Odette. She lets me drive it when she's away, you know, to keep the battery charged. She's in Europe now.
Oh, I see.
Buck, are you disappointed?
Why, of course I'm not.
Well, this is the time Miss Margie said I should do it. But who was I supposed to say needed help? Was it Miss Jackson? Miss Waterbury? Oh, what's the difference? Mr. Albright's only going to come out in the hall and pretend he went someplace. Mrs. Odette. That's a good name.
Excuse me. Yes? Come in? Oh, hello, Charlie. What is it?
Miss Margie, your pappy's got to fix a busted water pipe right away.
Oh, all right, Charlie. Which apartment?
Mrs. Odette's right across the hall.
Mrs. Odette.
Mrs. Odette's? I thought that was the lady who was in Europe.
Oh, well, she must have flown back.
Is there anything wrong, Miss Margie?
No, Charlie. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I guess I'll have to wake Dad up. Dad? Dad, wake up.
Huh?
Dad.
Oh, yes, dear.
Leaky pipe.
I thought Mrs. Odette was in Europe.
Huh?
Oh, I guess I was half asleep. I overheard Charlie. I'll have her pipes fixed in a jiffy.
Dad, this is Buck Foster. Buck, my father.
Hello, Buck.
Nice to know you, sir.
I'm sorry I have to run duty calls.
Have a seat.
What do we do now about Mrs. Odette's?
Well, you're not really going over there. You're just going out in the hall for effect for a few minutes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, what do you think of him?
Oh, he seems sincere.
He's coming out. Get the tools to make it look good.
Yeah.
Mr. Albright,
Yeah, Buck.
I'm going to give you a hand.
Oh, no, my boy. Nice of you to offer, but this will only take a couple of minutes.
Hurry back, Dad.
I'm pretty good at mechanical things. I insist.
Oh, no, really, Buck. He'll do much better alone.
I never take no for an answer.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, let her old pipes leak. I'm in a lazy mood tonight.
Why, Mr. Albright.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Odette. Welcome back from Europe.
Huh?
A flu, huh? Now, where's that leaky old pipe?
Leaky old pipe?
It's her age. The old gal is really getting forgetful. Now, Mrs. Odette, concentrate. You got Charlie, the elevator boy, to come and get me to fix a leaky old pipe. Now, where is it?
I told Charlie to... What you doing in these things?
Oh, Mrs. Odets, can't you remember anything? I'm Mr. Albright, Vern Albright, remember?
Of course I remember.
Fine, I'm also the janitor of this building.
Mr. Albright, how long have I been in this terrible condition?
Come on, we'll find the pipe. Gale. There's no leak here.
Let's go.
Did you find the leak?
You must have imagined it.
Well, false alarm, I guess.
Wait a minute. We haven't checked the bathroom yet. Come on. Well, there it is, all right.
Yeah, there it is.
There was a leak. I reported it, but I didn't remember it. Well, I can tell you this. When they come for me, they're going to have a struggle on their hands.
Well, that won't take more than a minute. You won't need any help here.
Of course I won't. Say, why don't you go over and talk to Margie?
No, I'll wait for you.
Swell. Well, now, let's look this over. Guess I'm getting kind of out of practice. Once I get this thing off, I can plug it up with chewing gum or something. Oh, help! Help!
The valve! Hold the joint!
Where?
Turn the valve! Come on here! Hey! Turn the valve!
Oh, I think you're both dry now.
Do I look as silly as you?
Nobody can look as silly as you, except me.
Dad's kind of rusty on his plumbing. I'm sorry you got wet, Buck.
Oh, forget it. Had a wonderful time. Well, I guess I better be going.
Well, it's awful nice to have met you, Buck. I hope we'll be seeing more of you.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Albright, and you'll be seeing me. Margie, you're too swell a girl, and your dad's too swell a guy to go on like this. I know you're both proud, but, well, I'm going to do something for your dad.
You're going to do something?
Yes, but I want it to be a surprise.
Oh, Buck, you're sweet. I've got to tell you something about myself.
Just a second.
Wrong second. Buck, I've got to tell you.
I don't want to hear anything, except that you are what you are. You are what you are, aren't you?
Whatever it is, I guess I'm it.
Well, did you tell him?
No.
Well, how come? I agreed I was wrong about him, that he's a real regular guy. But you said you wanted to tell him when you said goodnight to him. Now, why didn't you tell him?
Well, I couldn't.
Well, why not?
Well, because. Because I are what I are, and he wants me to be what I are, and I are. Oh, by the way, Dad, you're going to be surprised.
Well, surprise goes with confusion, so let's have it.
Buck says he's going to surprise you. He's going to help you.
Help me? Help me what?
I don't know. Dad,
Yes?
how am I ever going to tell him without making him think we were making a fool of him?
Well, I don't know, honey. We'll think of something. Honey, I apologize. You are a good judge of character. He's the kind of a truck driver that'll probably own his own truck before long.
Oh, I'm glad you like him, Dad. But how am I ever going to tell him what we did?
I are what I are.
Hi, Betty.
Hello, Margie.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Honeywell.
How'd everything go last night? I haven't seen your father yet. He's been tied up with Mr. Todd all morning.
It went wonderfully, beautifully. How does this sound? Mrs. Buck Foster.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Did you say Buck Foster?
What's wrong?
Buck Foster. Buck Foster. Tell me you didn't try that ridiculous routine on him. Now tell me you didn't.
Okay, I'll tell you we didn't, but we did.
What's this about Buck Foster?
I hope it isn't the same one. My private deal, the one I want to close all by myself. Is that your Buck Foster?
President of Consolidated Transport.
Then it is the same Buck Foster.
He not only proved himself, he nearly got drowned.
Holy mackerel, Dad. The reason I came down here. Buck's surprise.
Well, what about it?
He felt so sorry for you, he's gotten you a job.
A job?
And one for me, too.
Margie, you'll have to tell him everything. Everything.
You're not going to tell him anything.
But Mr. Honeywell...
You're going to take that job and stick to it until I close my deal. Yeah. And you, too.
You certainly got the soft job in this deal.
Kind of tough, huh, Dad?
I just wasn't cut out for this kind of work.
You better get a move on, Dad. Here comes that Mr. Benson.
Company man, huh? More and more, always more. I wish Honeywell would hire and close that darn deal.
Well, what?
Margie, I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of this rut.
What do you mean?
Mr. Honeywell said I had to stick it out, but he didn't say I couldn't get fired.
Who's gonna fire you?
Wait, you'll see. Hey, you.
Yes, what is it?
I don't like the way things are run around here.
Oh, you don't, eh?
No, I don't, and especially I don't like you. Look at this spray gun.
Oh.
Now, why did you do that? Oh! Mr. Foster! Mr. Foster!
Dad, you shouldn't have done that.
It is now 1:30. By 1:31, I should be fired. In the meantime, I'll keep working so Mr. Honeywell won't have a complaint to stand on. I can't understand it. It's been 3 hours and no one has said a word about squirting that guy. Ooh, my back. Oh. Now, where did Margie go?
He keeps wondering why he hasn't been fired.
I think I deserve a little revenge for that soaking I took last night.
I wonder what he'll say when I tell him I explained everything when you called about the jobs this morning.
You know, I think I'll even give him a little overtime.
Oh, poor Dad. I hope he'll see the humor in it when I tell him you signed the deal with Mr. Honeywell this noon.
You're darn right he'll see the humor in it. In fact, he's going to have the last laugh.
Oh, no, Dad, do it!
Oh, Mr. Albright, no.
Today at 6:30 Eastern, Oliver gets into a feud with the Hooterville Phone Company on Green Acres. Then at 7, a camping trip turns a friend into a top sergeant on the courtship of Eddie's father. Now stay with us for I Married Joan next on CBN.